Right behind me, a 33-year-old woman entered the Super 8 motel with her hand in her purse, implying she had a weapon. Caleb and the rest of the fans behind me are going to be here till the tip-off at 11 o'clock. What they did was they put bales of hay into the water to act as a filter and to find what exactly was in the water. The water has come over the road and continues to flow through the trees behind me. The National Weather Service does expect water to rise another 3 feet. It's a 14,000 square foot production facility, and everything you are looking at now will help double production from last year at 122,000 gallons of wine. Danny told me he's got a little surprise for Mid-Missouri, something to do with water and a dunking tank. Danny, tell us about this. Businesses can pick up barrels like this and have food shipped to Joplin. Good news for the purple potato eaters. I love our producers this morning. Kids are safe right now, and also the officers on scene told us that exact same thing. We're going to continue to learn details as this story develops. We're waiting right now on a public information officer to come over here and confirm some things for us. So stay with us here on U News. Sarah, we have some breaking news from here at Rockbridge High School. Right behind me over the loudspeaker, they just announced Rockbridge High School is no longer on lockdown. I want to repeat, Rockbridge High School is no longer on lockdown. They announced lunch will go as planned and as scheduled. Now, Sarah, we're coming to you live from Rockbridge High School. I'm joined by Superintendent Chris Belcher. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
First question for you. Just tell us exactly what happened.
Well, as you might expect from the tragedy we had this weekend.
Officers, you may remember that was one of the few things that was cut from the budget in the most recent budget that came out. And I spoke with the school district to find out if today's events and the student that brought a gun at Hickman High School would bring back the conversation of those security resource officers.
Latest details, Todd.
Angie, good evening. Yeah, a student reported receiving a text message to the security resource officer on duty, and the school went immediately on lockdown. Now, the students remained safe in the classrooms, while the exterior of the building behind me was locked. Music. Programs as bulletins. Caution tape as reserved seating. Chairs lined as pews.
It almost reminds me like I'm going to a funeral.
And today we get to turn the page.
This Sunday in Joplin certainly had a service-like feel to it. But it wasn't to say goodbye to someone.
From the wreckage of unprecedented disaster.
It was something. As the wrecking ball pounded the walls of St. John's, residents had mixed emotions. Some cried, some cheered, some took pictures to remember the day, but all were ready to move on.
We do need to put that building to rest. Every day as we drive by that building to go to the various places that we're working now, it's painful.
Sunday afternoon, Joplin residents said goodbye to their 43-year-old friend. They broke ground on their new beginning.
Anybody want to borrow a shovel? I'll borrow.
And it was a little girl's example that remained when others had moved on. You got a lot of work ahead of you.
Yeah, I know. I told Grandpa that I was helping with our new hospital, and I was right.
With photographer Stephen Glenius, Todd Tumminia, KOMU 8 News, Joplin. On August 25th, the St. Louis Cardinals were 10.5 games out of the playoffs. Their season looked over. Around the same time, one of their fans was fighting for his own life and never gave up on that team. The players turned it around, and that fan's dream came true. Before the Joplin tornado hit, Mike Byers and Mark Lindquist were complete strangers. But on the eve of Game 7 of the World Series, Byers became more like the little brother Lindquist always wanted.
Happened to find out I had 2 tickets, and of course, you know, it was like, Mike, okay, you saved my life. I'll never be able to pay you back, but here I'm going to. Here's a ticket to a Cardinal game. We got to be even.
The two shared a moment that both only dreamed of.
I'm excited. Didn't get much sleep last night, watched that game, and just grinned all night long, man. Laid there. Every time I wake up to go to the restroom or whatever, I had this stupid grin on me.
A bond that started days after the city of Joplin changed forever.
We found Mark. I mean, he had little blood in him, and we tried to stop the bleeding the best we could. Mark was still fighting to He was still moving and fighting to stay alive.
Lindquist continued his fight in the hospital. Doctors induced him into a coma and told family members they didn't know if he would make it.
For 2 months, we didn't really know if he would live or not. And if he did live, they said he would probably have no brain function beyond withdrawing from pain.
But Lindquist kept fighting and proved doctors wrong. He came out of the coma and started asking questions.
The first words he said to me were, "Are my guys okay?"
Lindquist lived at a group home on Iowa Street with 3 developmentally disabled men. He did everything he could, but the tornado claimed the lives of his guys.
And I had trouble dealing with that at first, but I realized that they're in a better place. And now instead of me watching over them, they're kind of watching down on me, and I actually feel like I have 3 angels.
3 angels watched over Lindquist as his struggle continued. After coming out of the coma, his life was put on hold again. He contracted the life-threatening fungus disease.
He saw an angel in a light green light, and he said at that point, I knew the fungus was gone. And very soon after, they told us he was free of the fungus. Yeah. Not a red light, it was a green light, not a cardinal red.
It is unknown how long Lindquist will live. He created a bucket list of things he wanted to do. Number 1 on that list was attend a World Series game and watch his favorite team. An anonymous donor made it happen. Not only did he see history in the making as the Cardinals won the World Series, he shared a moment with his new younger brother and his 3 angels.
Go Mark, go Cardinals.
In the air to left, well hit. Back is Craig. What a team. What a ride. The Cardinals are world champs in 2011.
A great story.
Lindquist is now living with his brother in Southwest City, Missouri. That's at the corner of Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Missouri. And he actually has plans to get married soon, so the story doesn't stop there with Mark.